Dr. B. Hariharan is an associate professor at the Institute of English and the director of the UGC Area Study Center for Canadian Studies at the University of Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram. He is somebody who has been extremely closely associated in the evolution of the script or the Atakatha of Don Quixote. We had originally contacted Shri P. Venugopalan, who is the person who has scripted this play, and he suggested that we have Dr. Hariharan join us today, and we're very grateful to him for agreeing to be here and lead us through not just the artistic choices that were made, the particular decisions that were discarded, decisions that were kept, but also share with us interesting anecdotes through the process of the evolution of the script. I'm extremely delighted to welcome Dr. Hariharan on stage. Thank you, sir.
Namaskaram, ellarkum. At the very outset, I would like to thank Navadisha for giving me an opportunity to share my experience of learning to live with Don Quixote. When Margi was approached as part of the 400 years of celebrating Cervantes classic, Dr. Venugopalan, my very senior friend, was asked if it was possible to stage Don Quixote as Kathakali. So I remember Venugopalan coming home and then giving me a call. He said, "Hari, can you come home?" So I went there. So he mentioned Cervantes' novel and he said, there is this novel, and then I have been asked to see if it's possible to do a Kathakali play out of it. I said, that will be an exciting thing. But then he had a question which had to do with the name of the hero. So he said, in Kerala, we generally refer to this novel as Don Quixote. So he asked me, what is the pronunciation of this word? So I said, in Kerala, generally in English, even if you look at it in English, it is Quixote. But then if you really want to look at the pronunciation, it is not Quixote. If you want to look at it the way in which the Spanish pronounce it, it's Quixote. So this is what he told me. See, if it were Quixote, I wouldn't be doing this. It will be impossible to write an Atakatha which uses the word Quixote. So he said that would have been a big no. So then he was not again sure. Are you sure it's Quixote? I said, I'm sure it's Quixote. That is how it is pronounced. Then he said, now I think I'll be able to write the Atakatha. So that, I would say, was the biggest hurdle or the biggest anxiety that was there in the preparation of the Atakatha. But then it's very easy to talk about this, saying that yes, you can sit down and write an Atakatha for anything. But that is not the case. Because I think we need to go back a little bit and look at the way in which you probably will be able to write an Atakatha. Because we have to understand that the Atakatha is in itself a genre. Apart from the way in which we would talk about poetry or drama or the novel, this is a genre in itself. The equivalent would be the script that one would talk about. So when you write an Atakatha for Kathakali, it will have to conform to certain grammar, certain rules by which you do it. So if you look at the typical structure of an Atakatha, it will have a shloka. And this will be in Sanskrit. You have a novel written in Spanish, that too 400 years ago. And then it is not again only Spanish that you have. Quixote would use Catalan, and then you have the other characters using Spanish. So you already have there 2 or 3 different languages in a way. And this is one of those very important forebearers or forerunners of the novel in its form that we see today. So this book in a way crystallized the form of the novel. It set up in a way the grammar of this genre. So how is it that you can actually take up a novel written in Europe in a foreign language and an alien culture and bring it to speak and live in a very different culture? This was the biggest challenge that was there. So you had to reckon with the different languages, for example, that you have in the novel. That was one challenge. But I would say that it became possible to write this Atakada largely because of the epic sweep, as it were, of the novel. Cervantes' novel has an epic dimension. Now, this is perhaps that most vital link that you discover between Cervantes' novel and the nourishment that shaped Kathakali. So I'm moving back and forth, and when we talk about the nourishment that shaped Kathakali, that goes to the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and the Bhagavata. These are the epics that we have. So you already have an epic scale in place, which made it possible to tell stories on stage. So this is the history of Kathakali, that it used a whole lot of epic narratives. These were stories that every one of us in India know. So it was not that you are watching a story, you are listening to a story for the first time. There was something more, there was much more to it than watching the same story. When we tell a story, I think we will learn how to tell that story. And I think the many more times you tell the story, you discover the very many nuances there. And I think this is what ultimately you communicate as a performer, or when you try to prepare a text for a performance. Because you know that a text in that sense is only a seed which will have to be allowed to grow and blossom. Cervantes' novel, in that sense, was a seed to become Kathakali after a whole many renditions, narrations. And I would say that the tenuous link goes back to its epical quality. Maybe Cervantes perhaps did not know about Kathakali. It might be a coincidence that maybe the novel as an art form and perhaps Kathakali also an art form did crystallize more or less around the same period. So there is something uncanny about the kind of relationship between the form of the novel and the form of Kathakali. Because if you look at the novel, it's a form that is so flexible, and it has been molded, shaped in so many different ways all these years. And as theatre, Kathakali is no different. I think this perhaps is its singular quality, the fact that it is so flexible. It is flexible, it is at the same time structured, you might say even traditional. It has got a grammar, and then you have to work always within that grammar. You cannot go beyond that. If you go beyond the grammar, then it is not Kathakali. It can become ballet or it can become something else. You will never be able to recognize it as Kathakali. So perhaps I would say that in Cervantes' novel, there was this possibility of Kathakali. And what Venugopalan's script does, Atakada does, is to tap into that seed, that bijam, as it were, and then bring it alive. This is what I think he has done. And for which, again, you needed to know your text, you needed to know your novel very well, and this was available in English and in Malayalam, so you had to certainly read it. Cervantes' hero misquotes the romances that he had read, and this is what transports him to the world of illusion. And there is the real world. And the line that separates the illusory and the real, again, is very, very tenuous. It's not something that you can very clearly demarcate and separate it. And that perhaps is what gives the novel its philosophical dimension. And I would say this is perhaps what Venugopalan was able to tap into, recognize in the novel. And this is something that we have in Kathakali. We have it in all the epics that we perform on stage, we translate and make available in the very many different stories that we tell. So this is something that I would say he was able to tap into. And he was able to tap into it again because the concept of the Arthakatha was very firmly rooted in him. So I was talking about the language that is used. For the shloka is always written in Sanskrit. It has to open with the typical shloka. And then you have the padams, and you have the Pallavi, Anupallavi, Charanam, and you might have an Shloka. I think there is one Shloka in the script that he wrote, which has 7 scenes. So he was very particular, he was insistent that it must stick to it. So it was not just that you need to have a Pallavi, Anupallavi, Charanam. And that's when you had this beautiful word, Madambi, the landlord. But landlord is not the word, but then the word Madambi. And then you have if not the sidekick, somebody who will go with him. These are models that are available, that are there in our society. So it was, I would say, a little bit more easy to really invite Quixote and Sancho to Kerala into a very different art form. It was not all that difficult. I think it was a matter of trying to discover those points where you can actually make contact. And with this novel, I don't think it was all that difficult because Quixote had embarked on a journey. He had a travel itinerary. He has been translated into ever so many languages, perhaps the second most translated book in the world next to the Bible. So traveling to different countries, different cultures probably is nothing new for him. And I think these stories travel because of this remarkable interface, one might say, between illusion and reality. And how does one grapple with, how does one come to terms with, work out this dual nature of our living, of illusion and reality? Now, that became a very, very important question that the play tries to address. And how does one address this kind of a dichotomy? Again, what comes to support is the sheer language that we use in almost every other performance, particularly in Kathakali, it is no different. And that is the language of exaggeration. You take a novel, you have, when we start reading the book, you have the story unfolding in exactly the same way. That is the tradition of the novel. And it is no different when you have in Kathakali or in Kudiyattam, let's say someone like an actor sitting on a pida, on a stool, and then visualizing before the audience Mount Kailasam, and then starts lifting the mountain and then dancing. And in the same breath, trying to show you Shiva and Parvati and Ganga. Do it for 1.5 hours. We just need to watch Shivan Nambudiri doing Parvati Virham, and you will see him doing this Pagarnatam of all this. It's a language of exaggeration where the audience sitting there get to actually see the mountain and everything that is there on the mountain. And it is illusion. The reality is that there is an actor who is performing this. So I suspect sometimes that even reality offers its version of exaggeration. I was talking about the language of exaggeration, which is perhaps there when we talk about illusion, but then perhaps there is also an element of exaggeration when we talk about reality. It's a way in which, again, the way in which Quixote tries to grapple with live in the world of illusion. So there are these different worlds, and then you have the two of them coming together. So there's a very fascinating way in which the idea of the dual, the double, one might say, is played out in the novel. And it is the focus largely is on that, because you already have the template of the illusory and the real. See, it is the same template that is being worked out throughout the novel, and the Attakatha was able to capture that duality, that doubleness that is going on through the characters. So for Venu sir, what was, I would say, easy was that it was already there. You just need to get those two characters, and then you didn't want to present on stage every single episode that is there in the novel. So you had to get those maybe very representative sequences, and then see if you could communicate the ironies that you have, the parodic intent that you have in the novel. So this, I would say, was a very, very important, very major challenge when the Attakatha was being done, because there's a whole lot of humor there when we read the book. So one big question that was there was this: how is it that we can translate the humor on stage? So it's possible to have a Sancho with a pot belly, a guy who would run around, walk around. You can have a Senthil and Vadivelu kind of a combination if possible, but then that's not what he was intent on. So what kind of a humor should emerge, and what is it that you can communicate? There's a certain feel that you get when you read the novel, but then what is the feel that you get when you sit and watch this performance? So it should not be bodily humor, but then because it is Kathakali, you do everything very conscious of the body, and then discover how you can use the body, as Margi Vijaykumar would very aptly put it, the body as some kind of a screen on which you project everything. So this was what was kept in mind when the script was prepared. So it was a matter of selection and the choice of words, keeping in mind the structure or the typical structure of an Attakatha, and then the way in which you need to move around the choreography of it. So all that, I would say, he did keep in mind. And this is not the first Attakatha that he wrote. He had written another text also which has had a very good run. It is still quite popular in Malayalam, Krishna Leela, taking up something from the Bhagavatam, imagining a certain kind of a meeting of Devaki and Yashoda. So I'm not going into that now. So you already have somebody who has an experience of doing something with great precision, and I would say that helped him a lot to prepare an Attakatha on these lines. I've not seen any novel being presented on the Kathakali stage like this before, or maybe even after that. For me, I see this as a classic case of movement from one genre into another genre, and then seeing it working very well across into a different culture. So what Venugopal actually did was something like this. There was, as I was mentioning earlier, there was this very crucial question of translating the humor in Spanish available to us in English or in Malayalam onto stage. So one possible way again was by the selection of the costumes for each character. So for Quixote, I remember asking him, so do you think you will be having a Pacha Vesham for Quixote? Then he said, no, Pacha is not for him. Pacha will not fit him. So for him, so I was asking, what then will you do? There are these types that you have. We think that they are all stereotyped, but then he said, look, they are not stereotypes. Think of the potential that a Kathi character has. So then I started visualizing the Kathi character with all the makeup and then the damstram, the teeth that comes in, and then the way he would roar and the presence, which establishes his character, the valor there, and then the potential that it has for the humor part. Right, where a person he can probably be he can become at some point or the other, he can be fooled or he can be foolish, like Ravana going to Sita with everything, proposing to her, where he makes a fool of himself. So there is this potential that you have in the Kathi character. So he said, this is why it will be apt to have Quixote in Kathi Vesham. So then I remember talking about Sancho. Sancho, of course, was, I would say, a homage that you paid to the Vidushaga in Kudiyatam, which was one very important theatre that really did nurture Kathakali. So you have the costume of the Aharya of the Vidushaga coming in, and the movement. But it's not strictly the Kudiyatam actor there. You have the Kathakali actor, but then the Aharya was slightly different. And I would say that I'm not very sure if Margi Vijayakumar had read the novel, but then I would say that he got the essence, the substance of what it means to be Sancho Panza. And then the very first production itself, it was really amazing to see him perform, particularly the way in which he stood and looked at Quixote and the way in which he had appeared as a knight. So these were the two things. And the other little challenge that we had was with the other two Veshams, the White Moon and the two of them who fight with Quixote. There again, the problem was how to distinguish between the two knights. What kind of a mask can you have over the mask? So I think at that point, I think what helped was the way in which you would use in Nalacharidam, for example, the robe. Ashan is sitting here, I think. So the robe that you wear to know that this is Bahugan and this is Nalan. So it's quite possible to innovate with the limited kind of things, the minimal kind of things that you have in Kathakali. So the Aharyam part in that way was taken care of. There was one particular instant that was quite challenging in the way in which the whole play was choreographed, and that had to do with the introduction of Dulcinea. You have a dream sequence there. So I still remember during the Chulliyatam, when the whole thing was going on in Margi, I think they tried 2 or 3 different things. Having a curtain and then having Sancho there going somewhere and then trying to figure out from where Dulcinea must enter, whether there must be a curtain in between. So it took some 2 or 3 days to work this out, trying to bring in the world of illusion and the real world, and then the audience, giving that opening to the audience to recognize that this is what is being played out constantly in this play, this production. The cue for that comes in right from the beginning, and I must say that this was the brilliance of the Atakathakrita, the person who wrote the Atakatha. It was his sheer brilliance that he was able to conceive of the whole thing. Have Nelliodu Tirumeni as Kishanu sitting there reading the books, and then getting inspired and then trying to imagine what he will be, and then taking up all the old rusted armory, wearing it, and then getting ready. And then, of course, you have this transformation that is very popular. Okay. So I've been told 5 more minutes. I'm an English teacher. I'm very sorry. Generally, there's no stopping English teachers. So, which is what I do. So she told me 5 more minutes. I have some visuals here. So let me very quickly mention this particular thing. You have the opening sequence, and then the fight with the windmills, where again it was possible to have this. I'm not saying montage or a cut shots, but then when we sit and watch it, you would know that okay, now this is what he is looking at, and this is what Sancho is seeing. This is what he is seeing. This is what Sancho is seeing, and it was all perfectly timed, and it is much the same that you had throughout till the very end, where you have Kishano is back in his village, and I would say in that particular sequence, the last scene where Kishano dies, I'm talking largely about the production in Kerala. There is a slightly different production in Spain, so I'll take that up during the question and answer session. The slight differences are there. But then when you look at the last part, that scene where Kishano sits on the floor and then breathes his last, that I would say is a fascinating quotation of Bali Vadangam in Kudiyatam, where you have Bali's last moments being enacted on stage. And we have had great actors doing it for 15 and 20 minutes, the death scene. So you have a direct quotation from, again, an Indian epic. And if you feel when you watch this play, you felt like that this is a thorough Kathakali text. It is a Kathakali text that its story is from Kerala or South India. I would say it is because of the way in which the production sticks to the grammar. And perhaps that is why it is so very sophisticated and it is able to accommodate a whole lot of things.
You spoke about rootedness or being faithful to the grammar, and it was fascinating to hear that there were so many consonances. Could you speak a little about how do you have that kind of rootedness to Don Quixote when you're operating out of an art form like Kathakali? Is there some way in which there's a pressure to stay rooted in the text as well? And how much, and this is something we were talking about earlier, how much of that original text do you bring into this?
More than how much of the original, the kind of things that you have in the text that you bring into it, I think what is the spirit that you are able to get into the translated version as to. I think that is the more challenging thing. So because if you are able to address that, if you are able to capture the essence or whatever it is, the soul as it were of the text. See, if you are in your reading of it, if you are able to get at that soul, the heavy terms, then I think the rest of it will follow. It is not that you will not be looking at episode after episode. I think that is what he was very particular about. It's not that you have to take one episode and then the other and the other. You discovered the driving force in the narrative, and then you discover this is what it is. So what are the kind of things from here that I can take to really elaborate and show that this is the force, this is the driving force that you have in this narrative. So once you are able to get hold of that, that will take care of everything else.
How do you get at that soul? What did that process look like for you?
Well, this is something that you probably do. You get as a teacher, for example. If I'm given a poem, if I'm given a text, I read it, but then it's not necessary that I would get it once. So it's a matter of going back to it again and again and again, and then maybe at some point you might get it. But then it's, I'm not saying trial and error, but then blessing, perhaps. I'm not very sure about that. Even it probably is that moment, probably, where you have that moment of illumination, where you know this is what it is. Yes, I got it. Because if you don't get it, See, if you don't get it, then you will not be able to complete it. You will not be able to get that script in place. So even after the first production in Trivandrum, 2 productions in Trivandrum before it went to Spain. It went to Spain, came back, returned, and then he was in Guruvayur. Venugopal sir was in Guruvayur. There was another program there, Krishnanatam program. He was there to judge it. He went there and then he called me from Guruvayur. He said, I may call you, you have to come. So he had the Malayalam text with him, the Attakatha with him. So I went there, and we had already done one draft of the English translation. I was doing the English translation for him. So I went there with my laptop. We went there. He said, I'm changing Rendu Padam Njan Mattiyanu. He said, he's changing it. After that production, he said, I'm going to change a few words here and there because I think it has to still be revised. So he revised it, and then accordingly we had to work on the English translation. And then when we did that, we realized we had to do it from the beginning. Right? There were places where we thought, yeah, this is very rough, jagged, so it has to be smoothened out, niced out. So we said we will do that. So even at that point, this was done. And the Spanish production, if you look at the entire Attakatha and then present it on stage, it will take about 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours would be the full duration. But then when they went to Spain, they were told 1 hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So he said, impossible, you can't do this. So they had to cut out some scenes, and there was a scene between the Quixote seeing the 2 lions inside the cage. I don't know whether it was staged here. For that, there was no padam. It was only action. But then that scene has padams. So there were things that had to be cut out. So even at that point, this is texts that are always in the making. I think this is what happens when you have a performance. Now, talking about that particular scene, there's one thing, something that I forgot to mention. We were talking about the novel as he was doing this, and I told him, sir, there are 2 books actually, book 1 and book 2. The book 2 is a direct address to the reader, and book 2 makes fun of the reader. Now I asked him, how are you going to, that will be a challenge. How is it that you can make fun of a reader? Because you don't have you don't have a reader, you have an audience. So what is it that you can actually do? So we started debating this a little bit. Then somehow it came up. We said, we'll do one thing. We'll have Sancho standing nearby, all scared, and then Sancho must flee, must leave the place and leave Quixote alone. Because this guy is very down to earth and he's scared for his life, thinks of his wife. So we will do one thing. We will have him run into the audience, which is something very common in Kathakali. You will have people, the characters coming right through the audience on the stage for a fight, etc. So how about doing it the other way around? And actors would actually get down and go in the midst of the audience. So can this be worked out, where you would have Sancho Panza with the audience looking at the whole thing, right? So this is probably one way in which you could translate something that is apparently untranslatable. So there were ways in which you discovered those moments which you could negotiate and then give a sample, a hint. That is all you need in a performance, I think. So this was again the way in which the whole process went on. Maybe it is still being made. We still have to finalize the definitive Attakatha that still has to be done.